My wife's harmless prank sent me to prison for 6 years. The detective slid the photo across the table at 2:17 a.m., and my stomach dropped through the floor. Not because I recognized what I was seeing, a woman with a swollen face and terror in her eyes, but because the woman was Vanessa, my wife. And I'd been at a work dinner with 12 witnesses when those bruises supposedly happened. The detective didn't know that yet, didn't care. He'd already decided I was guilty the moment she walked through the precinct doors. His name was Franklin Oates, 23 years in homicide before transferring to domestic violence. The kind of cop whose eyes had gone flat from seeing too much horror. He tapped the photo with one thick finger, the nail bitten down to nothing. She says you did this, says it's been happening for years, says last night you finally went too far. His voice was casual, almost bored, like he'd given this speech 1,000 times to 1,000 men who all claimed innocence. I opened my mouth to explain about the dinner, about the restaurant receipt in my wallet with a timestamp, about the 12 co-workers who'd watched me eat pasta and discuss the Morrison account until nearly midnight. But Oates held up his hand. Save it for your lawyer. Right now, I need you to understand something. Your wife is in the hospital. Fractured rib, possible internal bleeding, contusions consistent with being beaten unconscious. She's terrified, and she's brave enough to press charges. The words didn't make sense. I'd left for the dinner at 6. Vanessa had been fine, irritated about our argument that morning, but physically fine. I'd gotten home at 12:30 to find the apartment empty, her phone going straight to voicemail. I'd assumed she went to her sister's place to cool off. Hadn't imagined she was at a hospital. Hadn't imagined any of this. You're under arrest for assault in the first degree. Oates stood, pulling handcuffs from his belt with practiced efficiency. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. The Miranda rights continued while he cuffed my wrists, the metal cold and too tight. I kept trying to interrupt, to explain, to make him understand this was impossible. He ignored every word, led me through the precinct past other cops who looked at me with disgust, past a room where I glimpsed Vanessa through a half-open door, her face destroyed, a female officer holding her hand while she cried. The holding cell was concrete and fluorescent lights, a bench bolted to the wall, a toilet in the corner that reeked of disinfectant and despair. 3 other men occupied the space, all of us waiting for arraignment, none making eye contact. I sat on the bench and tried to process what was happening, tried to remember our argument that morning. I'd confronted Vanessa about credit card statements I'd found, $15,000 charged to accounts I hadn't known existed. She'd laughed, actually laughed, told me I was being paranoid and controlling, told me to trust her. When I pushed for answers, she'd grabbed her purse and left. That was it. That was the entire confrontation. I'd raised my voice. She'd raised hers. We'd argued the way married couples argue about money and trust and honesty. Then she'd left, and I'd gone to work. No violence, no touching, no indication she was planning to spend the evening manufacturing evidence of abuse. The public defender arrived at 4 in the morning. His name was Leonard Gaines, public defender's office, 30 years old but looking 50, surviving on coffee and the delusion that any of his clients might be innocent. He sat across from me in an interview room and flipped through police reports with the enthusiasm of someone who'd already given up. Hospital documented severe trauma. Multiple witnesses confirm history of abuse. Wife has photographic evidence of previous injuries she never reported. You're looking at 5 to 8 years minimum if convicted. I told him about the work dinner, about the 12 witnesses who could confirm my alibi, about the credit card debt that gave Vanessa motive to lie. Gaines took notes, but his expression never changed. Alibi helps with the assault last night, doesn't address the pattern of abuse she's alleging, and questioning her credibility about money makes you look controlling, which supports her narrative. This is bad. This is really bad. Full story on my channel and linked below.